Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something today. Perfection is a myth. Society will have you believe that you need to have it all together, that every step must be flawless, that every decision must be right. But let me tell you the truth. We are all perfectly imperfect. You see, the world will try to define you by your flaws, by your failures, by the things you lack. But let me remind you, God doesn't call the perfect, He perfects the called. You were never meant to be spotless. You were meant to be purposeful. Every scar tells a story. Every mistake holds a lesson, and every struggle reveals your strength. Some of you are sitting here today weighed down by your past, questioning your worth because of your imperfections. But let me tell you something. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined by fire. And strong warriors are built through battles. Stop trying to erase your imperfections, because those very imperfections are what make you extraordinary. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I've made too many mistakes. I've failed too many times. Let me tell you, failure is not final. Every great leader, every success story, every champion you admire has fallen more times than they can count. The difference between the ones who succeed and the ones who stay stuck is simple. They refuse to let their imperfections define them. So I challenge you today, own your imperfections. Walk boldly in them. Use them to fuel your journey. Stop hiding your scars. Wear them as a testimony of what you've survived. Because you are not perfect, but you are purposeful. You are not flawless, but you are favored. You are not a mistake, you are a masterpiece in progress. Stand up, rise up, and own your perfectly imperfect self. Because God didn't make a mistake when He made you. He made a miracle in motion. Perfection is an illusion, a moving target that no one can ever truly hit. We live in a world that constantly pushes the idea that we must have it all together, that every decision must be right, that every flaw must be hidden, and that every mistake disqualifies us from greatness. But let me tell you something. Real strength is not found in perfection. Real strength is found in embracing imperfection, learning from failure, and standing tall despite the flaws. We have been conditioned to believe that imperfection is a weakness, that mistakes make us unworthy, and that struggles are signs of inadequacy. But if you look back through history, if you look at the greatest leaders, the most powerful voices, and the most successful individuals, you will find one common truth. They were all imperfect people who refused to let their imperfections define them. They didn't let their shortcomings stop them. Instead, they used them as fuel. You may be sitting here today feeling like your mistakes are too big, your past is too messy, and your flaws are too visible. But let me remind you, diamonds are made under pressure, pearls are formed through irritation, and gold is refined through fire. Your imperfections are not a curse, they are part of your process. Every scar you carry is a testimony. Every failure you have faced is a lesson, and every shortcoming you see in yourself is an opportunity for growth. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to be purposeful. The problem is that we live in a world obsessed with flawless appearances, where social media filters out the struggles and only highlights the victories. But life is not lived in the highlight reels. It is lived in the trenches, in the moments of uncertainty, in the battles we fight behind closed doors. And it is in those moments when you feel like you're not enough, when you think you failed too much, when you want to give up, that your true strength is being developed. Because strength is not about being perfect. Strength is about standing firm in your imperfections and continuing to push forward. Think about the most beautiful works of art. The finest paintings, the greatest sculptures, the most treasured pieces are never flawless. They have texture, they have rough edges, they have unique strokes that make them stand out. What if Michelangelo had refused to sculpt because he feared imperfection? What if Beethoven had stopped composing because of his inability to hear? What if the greatest writers had refused to write because they feared criticism? The world is not moved by perfection. The world is moved by those who dare to embrace their imperfections and create anyway. Some of you have been holding back, waiting until you are perfect to take the next step, to start the business, to write the book, to go after the dream, to pursue the purpose that has been planted inside of you. But if you keep waiting for perfection, you will be waiting forever. You don't need to be perfect to be powerful. You don't need to be flawless to be favored. You don't need to be without mistakes to be chosen for something greater. You just need to be willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to show up even when you feel unqualified. The most dangerous thing you can do is let your imperfections convince you that you are unworthy. Because the truth is, the very thing you think disqualifies you, your struggles are making you stronger. Your failures are teaching you wisdom. Your scars are shaping your story. And your imperfections, they are what make you uniquely equipped for the path that has been laid out for you. You see, we spend so much time trying to hide our imperfections, trying to present ourselves as put together and flawless, but the truth is, it's our imperfections that connect us. Nobody relates to perfection. Nobody is inspired by someone who has never struggled. But when you are honest about your journey, when you are real about your failures, when you stand up and say, I am not perfect, but I am still here, still standing, still pushing forward, that is when you inspire, that is when you lead, that is when you truly walk in your power. So I challenge you today, embrace your imperfections. Stop seeing them as limitations and start seeing them as part of your story. The cracks in your life don't make you broken. They make you beautiful. The weaknesses you carry don't make you weak. They make you human. And the struggles you have faced don't make you unworthy. They make you unstoppable. You are not perfect, but you are powerful. You are not flawless, but you are favored. And you are not without mistakes, but you are filled with purpose. Your imperfections are not something to be ashamed of. They are something to be embraced. Because in the end, it's not about being perfect. It's about being perfectly imperfect. Life is not about arriving at a perfect destination. It is about becoming in the process. Too many people are waiting for a moment when everything will fall into place, when all the pieces will make sense, when they will finally feel ready. But the truth is, purpose is not found in perfection. It is found in the process. Every step you take, every challenge you face, every setback you endure is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. So many people are stuck, afraid to move forward because they don't have all the answers, because they don't feel qualified, because they are waiting for the perfect moment. But purpose is not something you wait for. It is something you walk in. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to see the entire path ahead. You just need to trust that every step you take is part of a greater design. Even when things don't make sense, even when it feels like you're going in circles, even when you feel like you're moving backward instead of forward, there is purpose in the process. Think about the greats, the ones who changed history, the ones who left a legacy. They didn't wake up one day and suddenly arrive at greatness. They went through a process. They faced struggles. They encountered failures. They walked through seasons of uncertainty, but they kept going. And that is what separates those who fulfill their purpose from those who don't. It is not the absence of struggle, but the refusal to quit in the process. The problem is, too many people despise the process. They resist the waiting, they resent the hardship, they grow bitter in the struggle. But the process is where the real transformation happens. If you skip the process, you miss the preparation. If you avoid the struggle, you forfeit the strength that comes with it. The process is not a punishment, it is a preparation. Every challenge is refining you. Every setback is teaching you. Every detour is redirecting you towards something greater. Nothing is wasted in the process. We often think that purpose is a destination, a place we will arrive at once we have it all together. But purpose is not a final point. It is a journey of growth, discovery, and transformation. Every season of your life, whether good or bad, is part of your purpose. Even the mistakes you have made, even the failures you regret, even the moments that broke you, They are all working together to shape you into who you are meant to be. What you thought was a setback was actually a setup. What you thought was a failure was actually a lesson. What you thought was the end was actually a beginning in disguise. Some of you are questioning why things have been so hard. Some of you are wondering why you had to go through so much pain, why the road has been so rough, why nothing seems to be working out. But let me tell you, you are in the middle of your process. And just because you don't see the full picture yet doesn't mean the picture isn't coming together. The process is not meant to break you. It is meant to build you. The process is not meant to stop you. It is meant to strengthen you. The very things you think are holding you back are actually the things preparing you for where you are meant to go. If you are in a difficult season right now, if you feel like you are stuck in the middle of a process that doesn't make sense, hold on. Don't quit. Don't let frustration make you walk away. Don't let impatience make you forfeit your promise. What you are going through is not in vain. Every tear, every trial, every unanswered question, it all has a purpose. You may not understand it now, but one day you will look back and see that every struggle led you exactly where you were meant to be. You cannot rush the process. You cannot force it to move faster. You have to trust that what is happening in you is preparing you for what is ahead of you. A seed doesn't grow into a tree overnight. It must be planted. It must be buried. It must go through seasons of rain and sunshine before it ever breaks through the ground. And when it does, the roots that have formed beneath the surface will be strong enough to sustain it. Some of you feel buried right now, but you are not buried. You are being planted. You are in the soil of your process. And if you keep trusting, keep pushing, keep believing, you will grow into everything you were meant to be. Stop fighting the process and start embracing it. Stop resenting where you are and start realizing that where you are is shaping where you are going. Stop looking at your struggles as obstacles and start seeing them as opportunities for growth. Purpose is not about having a perfect life. It is about finding meaning in every part of the journey. And when you finally step into your purpose, when you finally see the full picture, you will realize that every single thing you went through had a reason. There is purpose in your pain. There is purpose in your waiting. There is purpose in your struggles. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are simply in the middle of your process. So don't give up. Don't let the weight of the journey make you turn back. Keep walking, keep growing, keep believing. Because the process is not breaking you, it is building you. And when the time is right, you will step into everything you were meant to be, and you will understand that the process was always part of the purpose.